Sky Squad, we are back in the building. And of course, we got to talk some reality TV news and entertainment. But listen, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you guys hit that notification bell button. Join the texting community at 202-918-3386 so I can text you anytime we go live or when I have special announcements. With that being said, let's go ahead and stage dive right on into this good tea for the day. First things first, I want to shout out Mr. Carlos King himself for having me on this week's episode of his podcast, Reality with the King, where we are discussing the fallout from the incident where Mia tossed her drink at Dr. Wendy Osefo, okay, and tried to hit her with her pocketbook, as well as the reaction from the rest of the ladies in attendance. So we dive deep into the heart of that, and if it was truly indeed good reality TV. It is a very, very good and deep discussion that I'm going to place the link for the podcast episode down in the description down below. And we got some tea on Love and Marriage DC and what storylines I think we can look forward to, and that we might be getting a look at either the trailer or some official new faces coming soon. So you guys need to check this out. It is a good one. We go really deep into the heart of reality TV on this one. So check it out. So now let's talk about our girls from Potomac, okay? Let's talk about it. Because one of the things that we didn't discuss yesterday in this preview for the upcoming episode is the fact that, Robyn has a discussion with Gizelle because Ashley has informed Gizelle. I feel like I'm about to pull a Nene right here and say she went back and reported to her boss that Robyn and Wendy had a kumbaya moment down to the Miami when they was all out to drinks and Gizelle was at home in the bed, okay? Now, as you guys can see here, the warm embrace that Dr. Wendy welcomes Robyn Dixon in. Wendy says, "I love you so much," right? So we see this here. And for us, to me, as a viewer, as a fan, I was hoping that this moment right here would extend into the second half of the season. And who knows? It very well may. Because again, it's about conflict and resolution on these shows. And it was really kind of nice to see that for a moment, the women could go out and they could enjoy themselves and they could let go of the beef and even perhaps make up over a bottle of Henny or Patron, okay? Now, in the scene, though, for which you guys allow me to pull this up here from our good friends over at the Peach Report, you can watch the entire scene here that Robyn is having with Gizelle. And in this scene, she gives a different interpretation of that moment, of this warm embrace with Dr. Wendy. Okay. So Robyn tells Gizelle, okay, she says, well, Gizelle says, "Now, Ashley did say Wendy was singing a different song to you at the club." And so when the producers do the flashback, we see them hugging and laughing, and it's a hopeful moment. So Robyn responds, she was like, well, Wendy was like, "Robyn, I love you so much. I've cried about our situation." And then Robyn says, "I'm like, Wendy, I'm like, don't do this. This has been going on for over a year." Now, as our friends over at the Urban Bell Mag pointed out, fans have been kind of calling Robyn out because in this preview, it's only a snippet, but it looks as though Robyn is enjoying this moment, right? But it seemed like she turned real anti-Wendy once Gizelle started, asking her some questions about it. So it kind of comes across like, Robyn and Wendy could potentially have a friendship if it wasn't for Gizelle being in the mix. That's how it's coming across to fans, okay? And it comes across like that to me as well. Now, I'm sure she didn't appreciate Dr. Wendy reading her down, but had Robyn never stuck her 2 cents into the biz naive between Gizelle and Dr. Wendy last year, they would never be in this position to begin with. Okay. Um, so let me know what y'all think about that. Interestingly enough, even after the argument in the car with Candace, Robyn wants to have a sit down ponderosa with Candace to discuss their issues. So I can't wait to see how this plays out in the coming episodes, because I think it's going to be rather juicy. Okay. All right. It is time to talk about our girl, Wendy Williams. What is going on with Wendy? Okay. Well, according to court documents and according to The Sun, all right, apparently Wendy Williams' son, Kevin, was evicted from his $2 million luxury Miami apartment after Wendy cut him off from her fortune and couldn't pay his rent. All right. Now, according to court documents that were obtained by The Sun, Kevin Jr. was hit with a lawsuit seeking nearly $70,000 in back rent for non payment of his Florida home this year. Now, it includes a copy of his lease, which shows that Wendy paid for a full year of rent in advance, as well as a security deposit and other fees. Apparently, she dropped over 100,000 on the apartment for her son for the first year of the lease, which started in March of 2021 and ended in February. And then with Kevin agreeing to continue to rent the apartment on a monthly basis after the lease term had passed. Now, you guys know about Wendy's financial, assets being frozen by Wells Fargo in January. Okay. So the Sun is saying this lines up with the overdue rent beginning to pile up, as mentioned in the eviction lawsuit. All right. Now, apparently, Kevin Jr. is speaking out. He has said that as the lease approached the final months, my mom went through some health issues that put the court in control of her finances. And all of the financial support that she always gave stopped, including his housing. He also said that he is currently in school full time, but had to take a full year off due to the pandemic concerns and taking care of his mom. He also said for medical and legal reasons, she has not been able to pay the rent for the past months since the 1 year lease ended and the court controlled her finances. He is saying that everything happened very quickly and unexpectedly, and I had no idea things would end up like this, before adding that he would be moving out on September 7th. So apparently, Kevin Jr. is not the only person whose living conditions are being impacted by Wendy placed under financial guardianship. According to The Sun, Kevin Hunter Sr. claimed that he could face foreclosure if his alimony payments don't resume. All right. Now, these payments suddenly stopped in February of 2022, which is very interesting as well. And then Kevin has asked that the court order Wendy's guardian to make payments as contractually required under the MSA and severance agreement. It seems as though this financial guardianship is really, really in the guardianship phase of its role. Okay. I know that that's kind of redundant, but now that I really analyze this situation, I mean, it's really placing a lot of restrictions on people in her life that benefited from her financial backing, i.e., her son, which to me, I feel like is, why wouldn't she take care of her son? Why not? But it's interesting that Kevin Hunter isn't even getting his due, okay, or what he feels like he's due. Now, in his filings, he told the court that his livelihood depends on the payments which were agreed to in their marital statement settlement agreement. He says, I've fallen behind on most of my bills. I currently live in a community that requires payments to the homeowners association, and I'm behind on the bill. If the homeowners association's fees are not paid, foreclosure will soon follow. Wow. It's very interesting. What do you guys think of this whole situation? You know, with this guardianship in place, it has really seemed to have a dramatic impact on not only her son, but also her ex. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens as things maneuver forward. And still no word or update on this podcast, although we have seen Wendy out doing an interview in which she looked relatively much better. But that's up to interpretation by you as the viewer. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and we will catch you in the next video.